All right, everyone. A couple days ago, Chuck Schumer buckled on the question of the wall funding, actually, that Trump wants to a lesser degree. He's like, well, a few billion is okay. We'll give you an installment here, just not the whole total, which doesn't really appease Trump or the MAGA fans, so I don't know what he's trying to do. The Democrats have one legitimate grievance with regards to Chuck Schumer. He's not a hardliner like Pelosi. He's more given over to being conciliatory. I think the reason is in the Senate, where Chuck Schumer leads the minority. The GOP now has 53 Senate seats. He can't really obstruct within the context of the Senate to any effective degree. And the thing is, you've got to realize, there are Democrats, again, there will be in 2020, that are going to be in vulnerable areas that are very pro-build the wall. I think with the migrant caravan sort of debacle that's happening now, it appears that that movement is going to begin fracturing because people are like basically giving up and apparently wandering back to Honduras because they realize that, you know, Trump is taking a no-holds-barred sort of attitude towards the situation. It's not like the Obama days where if you made it across the border, you'd be caught and then you'd be immediately released without even being processed. Basically, oh, you don't have any paperwork, no ID, you're illegal. Yeah, bye. Dump them back across the fence maybe on a good day. Obama failed with regards to immigration. Trump has been trying to get wall funding, and Schumer's now signaling that he's willing to do that, at least in part. Now, of course, it's partially a symbolic gesture. It's not going to actually be enough to build the wall. It's enough to build upgrade a few portions of fence, and that's basically it. But here's the thing. It's part of that same Democratic Party schism. I saw on Twitter, for example, huge numbers of people on the far left attacking Schumer, and they're like, you're supposed to be leading the opposition party and you're not opposing Trump. And it's like, these people don't understand. Trump, a Republican, is the president. Republicans run the Senate. Until January, people take office, I think. Republicans run the House. They'll still, only have a slim net deficit in the House. It's not like there was a blue wave or anything. That entails that the American people want some degree of negotiation. If Chuck Schumer simply says, well, for the next 2 years, we're not going to do anything. Because if Trump suggests it, it is bigoted, evil, and mean, and so we're not willing to actually do these things. The Democrats, Schumer and Pelosi specifically, they understand political strategy enough to know obstructing like that will destroy the party. But here's the problem. That 10 to 20% that's far left wants obstruction. They want Trump impeached, and they want everything he wants to pass stopped from passage. That can't happen. It won't happen. And therefore, the neoliberals that run the Democratic Party are going to be attacked by people who are more on the progressive end. There's the Democratic schism. You don't need a majority of the Democratic Party to be far left. You just need to have enough of them to not be willing, therefore, in 2020 to support the party and go off and vote for the Greens or the Libertarians or do a protest vote for Mickey Mouse or even vote for Trump out of spite against the DNC. All you need is a few million people to do that to throw the election the way of the Republicans. And even though it looked like there was a sliding away of some of those opportunistic business Democrats in the Rust Belt from the GOP platform, the Democrats, if they obstruct or now, if they don't obstruct, they lose those voters anyway. The far left is not particularly well liked among the sort of, again, working to business class Democratic voters, the Union Democrats. They're not really on board with the wedge issue, pink-haired bullshit. And at the same time, those left-wing Democrats, not on board with the DNC. The DNC screwed their candidate when they screwed over Bernie Sanders the last time around in order to coronate Hillary Clinton. Whoops, yeah, that might have been a strategic blunder. The schism within the Democratic Party is the interplay between the minority, which is further left, and the majority, which is centrist. It's more business-focused. It's not given over so much towards wedge issues, and they govern more pragmatically. Now, that doesn't mean, good or bad. You can think what you want about their actual platform. I generally oppose much of it. But they want to negotiate to some degree because they want to actually pass legislation. And they know the looming possibility of a budget-based government shutdown would blow up in the House Democrats' faces. If there's a shutdown for any great deal of time, they will begin to suffer attrition. Trump won't. He'll say, look at these morons in the House. They can't pass a budget. I know how to govern economics. Look at the economy. That's all me. Me. It's the Trumponomics. I remember when people were talking about, the Trump economy is going to kick in here real hard. Trump, I think, is very happy about the fact that you labeled it the Trump economy. look, stock market's still up, falters every once in a while, nobody cares. Job growth is still strong, wages are now growing, and so forth. He's a money president. So when the House especially may cause a budget showdown, it's almost suicidal, and Chuck Schumer knows this. Even though he's in the Senate, not in the House. The House controls the purse strings. The Senate's more involved with appointments, SCOTUS, and so forth. Trump can get what he wants. All he has to do is make sure the economy doesn't collapse at this point. And Chuck Schumer is being attacked by people within his own party. The Republicans are sitting back and doing basically nothing at the moment. They know they no longer have specifically a mandate. The Democrats did take the House back. So they're just going to sit back and watch the Democrats, I think, implode for 2 years. They're not going to form a coherent platform. Not one that can beat Trump in 2020 anyway. I'm sorry, but with Gillibrand getting egg on her face too, I'm looking at the field of potential contenders. I'm seeing like Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, Bernie Sanders, Avenatti, all these people. Even people like Gabbard, and I'm like, none of these people are really electable. Yeah, none of them. Cory Booker, he's basically destroyed his own chances over the Kavanaugh bullshit and also looking oddly, which does count. Yes, the optics of how someone physically appears matters within a politically strategic context. We have to admit that. It's just like presidents tend not to be bald. Here's the thing. Chuck Schumer is the pragmatic, sane man in the Democratic Party, which is why, the 10 to 20%, the far left, will keep attacking him from within his own party, and it'll be funny, and it'll prevent him, I think, from being an effective leader there of the Senate minority, or of basically, along with Pelosi, being the figurehead of the party until an actual candidate emerges after the Democratic primaries. People are still talking about Trump getting seriously primaried. It's going to be a Kasich Jeb ticket. Jeb out of nowhere with Jeff Flake and John Kasich aboard. Yes, I'm sure that train to the White House would go off the rails real quick. It'd be hilarious. That's about all. Peace out.